Storytime about the pettiest work-related thing I've done. About 3 years ago, I used to work as a videographer doing social media content for a 7-figure company. I was paid roughly just better than minimum wage, and I was cranking out, at one point, 50 videos a day. I was freelancing and I was on a loose contract. I was desperate for the money. It was an insane amount of work, and however I managed to do it for 6 months is beyond me, especially for how shitty I was paid. The office was an incredibly bitter and snide place. It was clear that management would purposely stir shit to watch staff fight as a form of entertainment. I kept well away from it, but it was incredibly stressful on top of the video work. After about 6 months, I pitched to the higher-ups that my videos are making an insanely positive difference to their sales. I showed them graphs of interactions and direct links to sales on the website via my content. I compared my ideal salary to others in the industry and made a big deal about how it would still be less than what I should be paid. However, I still wanted to continue working for them. I was fired hours later for, I shit you not pulling my weight, as well as not having the desired effect they want on social media. I was fuming and now unemployed. I struggled for months to find any other job. Today, years later, whilst browsing a very old Google Drive account, I found that said company was still using a folder I created and owned. They were mostly active in files containing templates, adjustment layers, presets, and even all the videos that I created. Over 18 people were actively using it daily to continue with their social media campaigns. This was a cloud service that I was paying monthly for as I wanted extra space for my work. This was my drive and my work. I own it. So I copied the file as a local version for myself and then deleted the online version. Tomorrow, they'll wake up with none of their video assets, including all the things they were working on. Screw them. I'm a male, 33, and white from Ukraine. My wife is 22, black from Tanzania. When we met, she used to wear wigs and braid her hair, but we moved to Ukraine and she couldn't find people to braid her hair, so she started to grow out an afro. I love it on her and I think she looks gorgeous. The issue at hand is my family sort of distanced themselves from me when I married her. So when my sister invited me to her wedding, I was excited. My wife and I Skyped her to thank her, and she texted and asked if I could tell my wife to straighten her hair or tame it because she didn't want her hair to take the attention. I told my wife and she sulked for a week and I thought it was over. I then ordered her a nice, expensive blonde wig which arrived a few days ago. She hasn't spoken to me since. She berated me when it arrived and told me that it's her hair and she can't do anything about it, but I said that she couldn't. It's also just for one day. She told me that I should go alone, but I can't. She is my wife and she needs to be with me. My sister threatened to uninvite us if my wife doesn't fix her hair. My wife doesn't understand that I need my family. She's ruining all the chances I have at reconciliation. I'm not racist and neither is my sister. We just grew up in a community that wasn't exposed to black people. My sister is blonde and so are 75% of the women at the wedding, and that's normal to us. It's been 3 years since I've seen my family and I don't want the first thing they talk about it to be my wife's hair. I feel like my wife is being ungrateful. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to change her hair? Storytime about the time I messed up by explaining synesthesia to my boyfriend. I have grapheme color synesthesia. Basically, I see letters and numbers in colors. The letter E being green, for example. A couple months ago, I was explaining it to my boyfriend who's a bit of a skeptic. He asked me what color certain letters and numbers are and had me write them down. Since then, he'll randomly quiz me and compare my answer to what I said a few months ago. Always being the same-ish, of course. He still seemed a bit skeptic, as if maybe I just memorized them really well. Tonight we were laying in bed and my boyfriend quizzed me again. I tried explaining to him I just see colors automatically when I visualize the letters in my head. I asked him what color are the letters in his head. He looked at me weirdly like, what do you mean in my head? That's not a thing. My boyfriend didn't understand what I meant by visualizing the letters. He didn't believe that I could visualize letters or even visualize anything in my head. Well, it turns out my boyfriend has aphantasia. When he tries to visualize stuff, he just sees blackness. He can't picture anything in his mind and thought that everyone else had it the same way. He thought it was just an expression to say, picture this, or etc. It's crazy to him the fact that I can picture his face without looking at him or a banana without looking at it. Now I have a boyfriend that's really upset. He feels like his world is turned upside down and everybody else has this cool superpower. He's been texting all of his friends to see if they can imagine stuff and realizing I wasn't pulling on his chain. He's pretty upset and I feel really bad.
Am I the asshole for yelling at my obsessed wife? My wife, female 33, is a big nerd, which I usually appreciate, but she's taking things way too far today. She took off work today so she could be up at 4 a.m. to play her online game at launch. I didn't wake up until an hour ago, about 10:30, and she was still playing. I mentioned that I was hungry, hoping we could make breakfast together, which we like to do together. Instead, she said that we should order something from DoorDash because she's in the middle of a dungeon and may be a while. I really didn't want to get takeout because we had already discussed ordering pizza tonight for dinner, and that's a lot of takeout in one day. I calmly explained this and she got pissed and shrieked at me that she just wanted one weekend to focus on her game. I said that's unfair. Am I the asshole for yelling at my obsessed wife? She shrieked at me that she just wanted one weekend to focus on her video game. I said this was unfair to our family for her to isolate all weekend, and she got mad telling me that I have 2 hands and can feed the cat. I was in tears at this point and I did raise my voice and I said that I was worried she's obsessed with this game and maybe she needs professional help. She threw her car keys at me and said that I need to get out of her face and that she works all the time and doesn't ask for much. She said I need to leave her alone and get out of her face for at least a few hours. I am truly concerned that she's become obsessed with this online game. I'm hoping that maybe reading these comments will be a wake-up call for her, but I might have been the asshole. Am I the asshole for hating the Christmas gifts I get from my partner even though I asked for them? I, 30 female, am currently in a fight about this with my partner, 35 male. We've been together for 4 years, and a version of this conversation seems to happen a couple times a year. It always goes like this. He'll ask me what I want for Christmas, and I'll give him the answer. He'll then ask for the link, and I'll send the link. Then he'll say I have an old one of those that I could fix up for you instead. I'll explain that I really want the one that I sent, but let him know that he doesn't actually have to buy it. He'll then say he could just give me the one that's unused. I want to mention we both have good paying jobs and are child free. We split the bills and mortgage and have savings. Not rich but fortunate. Am I the asshole for hating my Christmas gifts I get from my partner even though I asked for them? We communicate well and he admits he needs guidance thinking of gift ideas for people. I usually cave in because I don't want to seem wasteful or spoiled. I don't need gifts at all, but he always insists for birthdays and Christmas, so I try to be honest and name things I would actually use. Also not too expensive, so it's easy for him. But he always gets me hand-me-downs, thrifted imitation brands, or jerry-rig versions. One year I pointed out a $75 used bike in a shop. He gave me his old bike. He's 6'5" and I'm 5'4". Last year I asked for a hot stone massage at a spa and he gave me massage oil and a coupon for a massage from him. Am I the asshole for hating my Christmas gifts I get from my partner even though I asked for them? Last year I asked for a hot stone massage at a spa and he gave me some massage oil and a coupon for a massage from him. How could I say no to that without sounding ungrateful? It was lovely, but it wasn't a real massage. Just this evening he asked what I wanted for Christmas again. I was explaining that I was browsing for a new tent for camping this summer. A dome one in particular, and he cuts me off. He says, "Oh cool, my dad has a tent he doesn't use anymore." I ask if it's a dome tent and he says no, it's an army tent. I exploded and said, why even ask me if it doesn't matter what I actually want? Sometimes I just want what I want. He said, whoa, you should hear yourself. I want.
Story time about the girl who faked assault for attention. So a little background information, I was 15 and it was my sophomore year of high school. So we're going to call this girl Carly. Well, every week this girl would come in with some sort of bruise or cut on her. Me being a decent human being, I would ask her what happened. Well, every week she would either say that somebody beat her up or she was SA'd by this one guy who took a video of them while they were doing the nasty. But you could completely tell that it was not against her will. Well, everybody would believe her because always believe the victim. Well, the same thing happened again with a different boy. Everybody saw the video, and I'm talking like people from different schools. So it got into a routine of her telling us how she would have to get abortions every month. So fast forward, I head to my first class of the day, which was English. Well, I look over at her because she sits right next to me, and I see a huge bruise on her neck. Like it looked like somebody had been choking her. Now, her and I weren't in the same friend group, but we were kind of friends. So I lean over and ask her what happened, like for part 2. Part 2 about the girl who faked assault for attention. So like I said, we were sitting in English class and I look over at her and she has this big bruise on her neck and it looked like somebody choked her. So I leaned over to her and I asked her what happened and she said the guy who was in the video with her, the most recent video, he SA'd her. So I tell her to come to the bathroom with me before the bell rang. So we go in and I immediately grab a paper towel and put it under some water with some soap and I go to put it on her neck. And she starts screaming and like ducking and swerving. Well, I ended up swiping her neck with the paper towel. And there is makeup all on this paper towel. And the bruise is just like smudged all over her neck. So I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? She told me not to tell anyone. And that was her way of making friends. Even though this girl had plenty of friends. So when we got back to class, the bruise had a completely different shape. And she changed her story to me beating the shit out of her in the bathroom. Because she slept with my non-existent boyfriend. 3 years later, she is still doing the same exact shit.
Am I the asshole for not allowing my girlfriend to live with me? My girlfriend, 39 female, and I, 41 male, have been dating for a solid 6 years. We've been planning on moving her into my place since I have a bigger house and live in a better area. My son, 17 male, had some concerns about her moving in with us. He expressed to me that he would not be comfortable yet in her presence. When I asked him why, he told me that he felt as though he wasn't ready for another member within the household since he overheard her preach about how much she hates children. I completely understood his feelings and validated them. I gave him a kiss on the forehead as well just so that he knew that I took his feelings into great consideration. I told my girlfriend that we, as in my son and I, decided not to move her in yet.